All right. Second episode. Here we go. I thought about doing this in a way that doesn't feel so planned. And I've thought about doing this more planned out, and I've thought about doing these episodes in a way that feel more structured. But I do believe that there's something really beautiful about being raw and not necessarily having a plan for everything. Something I want to touch on today are a few things that have been on my heart today. And one of them is living a narrow path, walking alongside God. And the other thing that has been on my mind is setting boundaries in relationships. I think a lot of us grow up in homes where we haven't seen examples of healthy love. And in many ways, it prevents us from knowing how to navigate through very difficult times in our relationships. We have a misconception that when we set boundaries in relationships, we are being conditional with our partners. When in actuality, boundaries are needed, and boundaries are not only needed, but it's an example of healthy love. Now, why is it an example of healthy love? It's an example of healthy love because it shows that you have the self-awareness to recognize your limits. That is very powerful. Not only is it very powerful, but it is very helpful in relationships, because with self-awareness comes better abilities to express to your partner what it is that you need. If we don't have self-awareness, if we don't have boundaries, the limits disappear. There are no clear lines not to cross. And you need that. You need that. If there's something that I've learned in relationships, if there's something that I've learned over these last couple of years, it's setting boundaries is love. The reason why it feels uncomfortable is because we are not used to, even in terms of society, we are not used to people standing up for themselves. We are told that when you love someone, we are told that when we love someone, you just deal with it. You go through it. It doesn't matter if they hurt you. It doesn't matter because you love them. When we are reprogramming our minds to become accustomed to new ways of being, initially it would feel very uncomfortable and it will feel as though we're doing the wrong thing. It's very similar to the journey that we have with ourselves. When we are getting used to new things, when we are instilling new habits and new ways of being, it feels very uncomfortable. It almost feels like setting boundaries in relationships, if you're not used to it, it almost feels like you're doing the wrong thing. It literally feels like you're hurting someone that you love. And therefore, a lot of the time we revert back to the ways that we are used to, the ways that we have been brought up on in terms of how to deal with things. Setting boundaries is healthy. You have to set boundaries. You have to be also willing to receive feedback from whoever you're with, from your partner, without getting defensive. Or at least if you do get defensive, you have to acknowledge the fact that you're getting defensive. The reason for this is because in order to break through old patterns, in order to grow and to change, you have to push past the discomfort. And at first, let me tell you, when you're used to unhealthy relationships and you're trying to build healthy relationships, at first it's going to feel very uncomfortable. It's going to feel almost unsafe because you're used to toxicity. You're used to unhealthy boundaries. You're used to unhealthy habits. And that's what's familiar to you. So when someone comes along, and whether that's your girlfriend, whether that's your boyfriend, I know we have different pronouns now, whatever. When your partner comes to you and expresses a concern, it's very easy to take it personal and be like, no, I don't want to do that. No, you're wrong, I'm right. It's very easy to demonize the other person, or to feel as though, hey, you don't really love me. But I'm telling you, you have to, let me lower this real quick. I think it'll actually help. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh. Well, I guess we're outside, so it's gonna have a little bit of noise. But setting boundaries is healthy. You need boundaries. You need to know your limits. You need to be able to communicate what you need. You cannot expect other people to know what you want. You cannot expect other people to treat you the way you want to be treated without you knowing what that treatment even involves. And so in order to build new habits, in order to build healthy relationships, you're going to go through very difficult times sometimes, and it's going to feel very uncomfortable. But it is important to endure these moments, because I promise you, on that other side, there is the healthy relationship that you want, but it's not going to come easy. You're going to have to push yourself. You're going to have to relearn a lot of things. Another thing I want to touch on is the narrow path. Right now, I'm on the narrow path. What is the narrow path? I feel very connected to myself spiritually. I feel very connected to God. I feel very self-aware. I've been sober. I haven't smoked. I haven't been drinking. I haven't been watching porn. Full transparency here. I've been doing what I have to do for myself. And it feels great, but sometimes it feels very lonely. And I feel like I have to say this. A couple of days ago, I went to the beach with some friends, and I drank 1.5 White Claws. I literally drank 1 White Claw. I picked up the second White Claw. I drank half of it, and I was like, I'm good. And then I had a sip of wine. I'm not gonna lie. I did not enjoy the experience. And it immediately made me realize that I'm just not there right now. It immediately made me realize that that's not the path that I want to be in. And it was a very, very beautiful day. I'm not taking away from the day. I'm not taking away from the experience. However, it also brought to my attention that the season that I'm in right now, I don't want to surround myself with environments that are not aligned with where I am and where I want to be. And sometimes when we're on the narrow path, when we're taking care of ourselves, when we're not running from ourselves or distracting ourselves, when we're facing everything that's happening inside, it feels very lonely. The path does feel very lonely. And that's how I've been feeling. I've been feeling kind of lonely, I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes you want the people around you to be on your type of time or your path, but they're not. And that's okay. And I'm learning how to not judge people for being in their own path. But it also doesn't get rid of what I feel, which is I feel alone. I feel like, damn, I want the people that I love to be on this type of time because I don't want to experience this alone. And I guess that's also teaching me more about myself. It's teaching me how to be resilient. It's teaching me how to walk my own path. How to not let other people dictate how I'm acting. It's very easy for me. 2 days ago, I was really stressed out, and it's very easy for me to pick up a joint and smoke, and I know I'll feel better. Real shit. I'll feel better. I know that, But I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to keep just like, it's just a drink. It's just a joint. It's just, I don't see, right now, I don't see it that way. And sometimes I literally feel crazy for feeling like this. Because I feel like, damn, like, is it really that bad? But you got to trust your intuition. You got to trust your spirit. Your spirit knows best. You know best deep inside. You know where you want to be. You know the path that you're trying to walk. And you have to trust that. You have to trust that. And yes, sometimes temptation is going to come. But what I've noticed, guys, is that my spirit, because I've been taking care of myself, I've been praying every day, I've been eating healthier, I've been going to the gym, I've been journaling, I've been tapped in, to myself. Oops. My spirit has gotten stronger. I'm able to say no to a lot more things that I wasn't able to before. I'm able to ignore a lot of the noise. And it's powerful, but it also, like I said, not everyone is walking this path with you. It feels alone. I wanted to make this podcast and I wanted to make this episode because I wanted whoever is going through this path, I wanted them to know, I want you guys to know that you're not alone. That a lot of us are walking in this path. And it sometimes doesn't feel good. 2 days ago, and shout out to my best friend, Chris. I love you, bro. But I got to keep it a stack. You know how it be. I called my boy and I was like, yo, bro, it's so easy to just smoke a joint right now. And damn, I'm not going to lie, guys. My ego kind of came out right now because I saw my biceps. Them gains. I was like, sheesh. But I spoke to my boy and I was like, yo, bro, it's so easy to pick up a joint right now and just smoke. Like, I just want to decompress, bro. I'm kind of like, a little stressed and shit. Hold on, give me 1 second. And it's so easy, man. I told him, like, and he was like, yo, it's all good, though. Like, just pick up a joint. He said something like that. And I was like, man, I love my bro. This is my brother. I love him. But if I wasn't so on this path right now, he could really convince me to just smoke a joint because he's my brother. I trust him. He could really make me do it, And not he's going to force me to do it, but his opinion could really influence my decision making. But because I've been tapped in, I'm sharp right now. Nah. I might move this camera, actually. Give me 1 second. I think this is better. And I said, nah. But what I mean to say with all of this is, like, you got to walk in your own path. You got to walk with faith. You got to understand that not everybody is going through your season. And you have to trust your season. It might not be what's best for your friends or your loved ones, but it's what's best for you, and you have to be tapped in. Another thing is, sometimes we don't realize when we're spiraling because we're not self-aware. And guys, like, the only way we can become self-aware is when we silence everything. And when we stop distracting ourselves. And this is also why I encourage anyone that's listening to this, like, if you feel stuck and really, like, just like at a place in your life where you're not really sure of what to do, or you feel stuck, or you don't feel good, I promise you guys, go on a cleanse. Go on a journey where go 1 week without drinking. Go 2-3 weeks. Go a month without drinking, without smoking, without being glued to your phone. Like, take that time to connect with yourself, connect with God. And I promise you, like, everything you're searching for, all the answers you're looking for are within you. It does get lonely, but we're trying our best. And I do think that it's essential for our growth. I do think that it's very important for us to go through these seasons. And sometimes you're going to have to walk it alone. It's just what it is. It feels like right now I'm walking alone. But I know God is with me. I know I'm not walking alone. I know God is guiding me. I know that there are things to learn here. Something else I'm learning is how to allow people to be themselves. I don't want to feel like I'm above anyone or feel like I'm better than anyone. I just want to walk in my own path, man. I want to stay in my own lane. It does get scary sometimes, though. Like, for example, if you're in a relationship and you feel like the other person isn't on your path, it feels like, I kind of feel disconnected from you. And I'm still learning how to navigate through those times as well. But we must remember, guys, that, like, we're not just physical beings. Half of our existence is a spiritual experience. So if you're not feeling happy, if you're not feeling content with where you are right now on this path, tap into your spirit. Tap into what's going on in here. Don't look outside. Like I said this, I think, in the last episode, but don't go out to drink. Don't do none of that. And this is just my advice. This is what I believe. You don't have to agree with it, but I'm telling you, spend time with yourself. Like, actually, not for like 5 minutes and then it's like, all right, I'm good. No, like, spend a whole day with yourself. Spend a whole day without your phone. Spend a whole week without your phone. You know, really take time to understand what's happening inside of you. Really understand, like, yo, what is going on in here? You know, and you don't only distract yourself with drugs or with alcohol. Like, you distract yourself with anything. You can literally just distract yourself with Netflix. Take time to connect with yourself. And I think that's it. I think this episode for me was to vent. I didn't even really know what I was going to talk about, but I knew that I needed to let this off my chest. And get this off my chest. And I want to read a journal entry before we finish this off. Relationships are teachers. Sometimes the lessons can feel difficult to learn from. Not only do they push us to look inward, but you also become aware of where you're not showing up for yourself. Setting boundaries can feel wrong when you have been accustomed to seeing unhealthy relationships growing up. Forming new patterns requires courage and self-awareness. Change doesn't always feel like progression. It can feel extremely foreign and therefore creating a sense of uncertainty with your own decision making. However, you have to trust yourself through this difficult process and remind yourself that in order to grow and have healthy relationships, you have to endure these moments. It's far from easy, but it's worth it. And that's with everything in life. I was talking about my relationship in that specific journal entry, but that's with everything in life. When you're changing, it feels uncomfortable. When you're doing shit that not everyone else is doing, like, it's hard to walk the path of a lone wolf, so to speak. Because you look around, everyone's drinking, everyone's going out, everyone's having fun. It looks fun. Guys, not everything that looks good on the outside is good on the inside. You have to really be aware. Am I aligned with who I want to be right now? Not only, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, but are your actions showing it? Pay attention to your actions. Pay attention to what you're doing, what you're spending your time doing. Pay attention to who you're hanging around with. Pay attention to what you're consuming. That will tell you everything you need to know in terms of why you don't feel good. In order to vibrate at a higher frequency, in order to be connected to God, it's going to come with sacrifice. Sacrifice is a part of this journey. And the moment you decide, hey, I'm willing to do what it takes to grow, I'm willing to go through these uncomfortable moments, is when you're going to be able to tap into a version of yourself that you have no idea how powerful you are. And that's the path that I'm on right now. And I hope that I can continue sharing this part of myself with you guys, because this YouTube channel is meant for me to be vulnerable. It's not meant for me to feel like I'm better than you or better than anyone else. It's me being able to express my truth, express my journey with full transparency. And I'm telling you, yesterday and today, these last couple of days have been very challenging for me because I feel very lonely. Even in being in a relationship, even being like around people, like I feel lonely sometimes. But I do believe that this journey is teaching me a lot about myself. And even though, you know what? I think I don't feel lonely. I feel alone, but not lonely. Or is it the other way around? I feel very connected to myself. However, I'm walking in that path that feels like alone sometimes. But I'm learning how to enjoy my company. I'm learning how to enjoy this. I'm learning. And what a beautiful journey. That's it. Much love. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep pushing yourself. And do not let other people dictate how you navigate through your own life. Listen to this and talk to God, connect with God, and remember, everything serves a purpose in your life, even these difficult moments, even the loneliness, everything. It's teaching me about myself. It's teaching me how to connect with myself. It's teaching me, hey, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. But it's all for the better. So have faith. Much love.